Hello, everybody, all you beautiful KBOI listeners. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, and I am the illustrious, the one, the only, your friend, your neighbor, Pastor John McClain, in studio, here to lift you up. His job, he is here today for the one sole purpose to bring positivity in your life. And his name,
man, and happy Sunday. So grateful to be around such positive and amazing people. And Tom.
Well, Tom's pretty positive. And also, if you hear the flashing of a camera in the background, that's Mr. Jeremiah Montgomery becoming one of the greatest cameramen.
The greatest, brother.
And he, once again, is here to take pictures that we will share with you on our website, veteranrescuemission.org, and I believe in myself.org.
Yes, I believe in myself.org. Yes.
And you can also catch us on Facebook by both. If you Google search it, it will lead you to us.
We're in 4D.
Yep. And then we also have video and podcast and videocast. What do we have today? Today we have a lot of special stuff. If you're expecting a verse of the week, I'm sorry. It's going to be a little different. You're not going to get the verse of the week, but you will get to hear about that one place called Veteran Rescue Mission that I keep telling you about that's due about the good work we do enough. So we're going to tell you about it today.
Yes.
So today on Pastor John's verse of the week, we will be telling you a little piece of the ditty we have today. We have, Andreas tells me something a little different, a little special, but I want to think it's going to be a touch of I Believe in Myself and a large dose of Andreas Ruiz for them. And then the second half of the show, this is an entire half. So if we're eating a pizza here, that would be a half of a pizza that is. So nice. We have a pretty good, if we're going to put things into pizza terms, we have a pretty good pizza cut out.
Chicken and pineapples. I've had
Interesting.
it. Papa
Do you know,
John's.
Can you confirm this, Jeremiah?
Yes, I can confirm.
What about you, Tom? Do you know anything about pizza ads? Yes. Yeah, yes. Tom, he nodded off. The juror says yes.
Absolutely.
That is correct. Okay.
Papa John's.
So that said, and a guy who really likes humor, I call him God. We're going to give him the grace, and we're going to start the show off with an opening prayer. So. And for me, it's the Serenity Prayer is one of my favorite prayers. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the thing I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
Amen.
Man,
yes.
I love it.
Always.
And like I always say, I'm glad that we started off that way.
Yes.
And I am so thankful to you, God, for giving us all these blessings in our lives. And certainly you and I both, Mr. Andreas Ruiz, and even Jeremiah Montgomery over there with that fancy camera, are so blessed. God has just rained blessings on us. And I'm definitely, as I'm talking about all the different projects that I'm working on now or that I've worked on over the past 10 years, I'll be engaging with both of you guys because you guys kind of been there to help me get there. Like you've seen the properties grow. Like you met me, Andreas, back when I was just like, I worked at, I don't know if you knew, but I worked at the VA in like the maintenance department, and I lived in like a little 1-bedroom apartment, and I barely even had a car. I think I had like a Pontiac Sunfire at the time. I didn't have much, and but you know, look where we're at now. You know, working on building a tiny house village. How many people we've helped get housed? All the work that we've done, and with the the big thing that's kind of hit me since the COVID hit was writing a book. You know, you too. I think you're the one who kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and you're like, yeah, hey, I'm writing a book. I'm like, you're writing a book? I'm like, yeah, I've been meaning to write a book for a minute. And in March, April, we both kind of the fire was set, and
Yep.
now we both have books that are released through Amazon and
Mm-hmm.
out there in the world. Mine's called Dear Alyssa, How-To Guide to Social Change, where I just go through the work that I've done for the past 10 years and kind of give people guides of how to run for mayor, how to join the military if you wanted to, how to be an entrepreneur, all these things. Like, you and I have sat down on several occasions, and I wrote down on a piece of paper for you, these are steps that you need to do
Mm-hmm.
to get your business license or to get a bank account,
brand.
stuff like that. Yeah,
man.
that stuff.
I
So it's
remember
cool
that.
that I finally have a book that can do that. And then with Veteran Rescue Mission, we through this homeless veteran camp that you and I worked at, I've been able to, have our church purchase a property, build a tiny house village to, get homeless veterans off the streets, get them a comfortable place to get comfortable, so that way I can connect them with people that can get them into housing. So
Yeah, man.
it's,
And then what you're doing this weekend,
yeah, and
That's
then
amazing.
Yeah, and this weekend we'll be out there November 6th through 8th
Mm-hmm.
on a church in Congress in the middle of downtown Tucson, camping out to get provisional items for people during the day, and during the night we'll be providing cots and sleeping out there with them for 2 nights, sleeping out on the streets, which I want to think for most people it petrifies them. They think it's like,
Yeah.
they think someone's going to come and beat me with a stick in the middle of the night. But
Yeah.
no, it's going to be great. Like, I really
Yeah,
look
man.
forward to it, hanging out with Jeremiah, hanging out with our group. And it's almost like going on a camping trip, except for the middle of downtown Tucson. So
Yeah.
it's weird, but it'll be fun. But we'll be back right after these messages, but definitely give us a call at 790-2040. There's also a documentary coming out about the work we're doing. It'll be showing at Harkins Spectrum 18, November 15th. If you give us a call, the first caller will get a free pair of tickets to that showing on November 15th. Again, the number 790-2040. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain with my buddy Andreas Ruiz. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show. I am your coach and speaker, Andres Ruiz, along with my brother here, John McLean, that I'm very grateful for.
Thank you.
And I love him for the work that he does. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm today on the tip of the week, I have a little bit something different. I'm actually going to read a chapter of my book. My book is very short, so we're talking like a page, maybe a page and a half that I'm going to read to you. That has been inspiring a lot of people. I've been getting some great feedback.
That's cool. Awesome.
And it's, so it's chapter 20, which is almost the last chapter, and it's called Man in the Mirror. And it starts, I'm going to make a change for once in my life. It's going to feel real good. Going to make a difference. Going to make it right. So I know that anybody who's a Michael Jackson fan, this is the lyrics of Man in the Mirror. And as I'm typing this up, I decided to put on Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson to get the inspiration I got a few years ago when I was feeling down and out and depressed, feeling sorry for myself. I still remember that moment when I was listening to the song. It made me realize that feeling sorry for myself was not going to do any good for myself and the world. When I heard Michael Jackson say, I'm going to make a change for once in my life, I told myself, I've got to make the change for myself. No one else can do it for me. I have to stop relying on the outside world to take care of my problems. The great Seth Godin said to one of his clients, Prince Charming is not coming to save you. What are you going to do about it? Are you waiting for Prince Charming to come and save you from your problems? As the song goes on, these powerful lyrics come on, and as I'm typing these words, I can feel Michael Jackson's emotion come through my computer and into my soul. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. And if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. The change starts with us. In order for us to make a change in our family, friends, community, and the world, it all starts with the person we see in the mirror every day. I know for myself, years ago, I could not even look at myself in the mirror because of the shame of being overweight, working at a job that made me feel like I was dead, being around negative people that were not motivating me to do something different with my life. I remember for so many years I lived this way, and I was a victim of my circumstances and was blaming the whole world for all my misfortunes, when in reality the person I really had to blame was myself. When we don't take responsibility for our own life, we expect others to take responsibility for us. At this moment, I unpause the song, and it says, I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? I remember that I was a very selfish person, always thought about myself. I would think to myself, what's in it for me? I would only do things that would benefit me and never did anything for anybody else. The more that we focus on what it's in it for me, the more that we suffer in life. If we were to think of what I could do for my family, friends, and the community, the world, not only do we make the world a better place, but we would make ourselves better people. And like the song says, we must realize that there are people out in the community that are homeless, sick, and with no food. We complain about not having enough materialistic things. We complain that we have to go to work. We complain, people talking about us. We're always complaining. And there are people out there in the world that could use your help. So we must be able to help these people. And there's a quote by an Irish proverb that says, I complained that I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. So we're constantly complaining, and I've been truly blessed to serve in my community and by helping my brother, John McLean, with his mission to help save the lives of 22 veterans, which is the number of veterans who commit suicide every day. John is a great example of being a true service to the community. I have been blessed to be a part of that journey by helping him build tiny homes, a garden, and eventually he's going to build a church on his property at Veterans Rescue Mission. I've also been blessed to serve our youth and talk about them, about my depression and how I went through cutting myself and thinking about committing suicide when I was in high school. I still remember a young girl coming up to me after my speech one day and saying, I've been to 8 psychiatric homes, 5 different foster homes. My family's in Michigan and I was going to commit suicide. But because of your speech, I see that I am not alone and I want to get help. We took her to the counselor that day, and because of my speech, a life was saved. I can tell you many more stories of what I've had the privilege to do. And I can honestly tell you that being of service to others is better than getting materialistic items, money, or anything that we value more than what really matters, which is being of service to others. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell that man or woman to make a change and serve the people outside of the mirror. So that's my chapter 20. And a lot of people have been reaching out and saying, wow, that really was very inspirational. And that song is so inspirational.
That's crazy. Is that in the book?
That's in the book, yeah.
You have my name in the book?
Yeah, yeah.
You have my name in the book?
Yeah, come on, man.
Jeremiah, how come you didn't tell me he's got me in the book? That's amazing, man. That's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
so I've been truly blessed to be able to connect with people like you, Matt, because if I hadn't connected with people like you, I wouldn't maybe have learned how to serve. I wouldn't people like Desiree Cook. There's so many people that I've connected with that have taught me the importance of service, and to be of service, you have to be around people who serve in order for you to be inspired. So that's my tip of the week. And, you know, I hope that one day you can look at yourself and tell yourself, how can I help somebody, rather than complaining about your life? Because the more we complain, the more we get in return complaints, or we attract what we think about. The more we think about what we don't have, we're going to get more of what we don't have. But the more that we can focus on how can I give, how can I serve, some way, somehow, great things are going to come your way. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's just I'm like usual. I feel so blessed to have you as a friend, and have people like you around me. And I definitely been gnawing at the idea, like always, this notion that you are the top 5 people that you hang out with. And certainly you are one of those people. You know, me and you see each other every Sunday. We make a very direct effort to hang out with each other every single week, and that's the thing. And to be able to get that idea across to anybody that we possibly can, it's a big deal. Like I tell a lot of people, myself, up until way too late in my life, probably into my late 20s, I didn't understand the value of volunteering and how you're paid in things that aren't money, and how you can actually get so much more value and so much more happiness and quality out of doing things that money could never buy you. So hanging around, like you say, hanging around good people and hanging around positive people that are outside maybe your comfort zone are how you get to that place. And without that, it's nearly impossible to get to that place, because there are friends that we work with and that we go to school with and that we do things with that are kind of based around economics. But there's so much goodness in the world that it's not about economics. It's about helping other people, and simply that.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking about helping other people, I know that this weekend, since you're going to be helping other people in the streets, I know that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you could use for people to bring out. And just remember, you can call us at 520-790-2040 if you want to just, you know, call in and learn more about how you can get tickets to the show. Or also, you can also learn on how you can help John and his mission this weekend. I know we could bring like water bottles, maybe blankets, socks, what else?
Clothes. Just come out and participate. Like I said before, a lot of people are really like, they're scared of this notion of going out and hanging out with the unhoused people, but they're just, you know, just people. So come on, hang out with us. I'll be out there almost 48 hours straight, pretty much by myself for a lot of that. So anybody that wants to come out, hang out with me, throw the Frisbee, throw the football, might even have my own children out there for a little bit. So come and be part of what we have going on. Yeah.
And any of you, if you're interested in getting my book, it's on Amazon. It's called Morning Warrior Secrets by Andres Ruiz. This morning ritual will take your life to the next level. It will help you create more health, happiness, and wealth. So if you're looking for a book to transform you, really quick read, 68 pages. I'm talking like 1 to 2 pages per chapter. You could probably finish it in a day. I've had people finish it in a day.
I read the first like 30 pages, but I needed to make it to the end, the part that I was in it. Huh?
Oh, yeah. So it's like the second to last chapter. So check that out, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, if anybody's interested in becoming a life coach, I'm also going to be coming out with my Legacy Coaching Academy program. It's coming out in November. If you want to reach out to me, I believe in myself coaching at gmail.com, or you can call me here at 520-790-2040 for more details. And if you want a free coaching session for the first 5 callers, I will be giving you a free coaching session to take your life to the next level. All right, so we'll be right back with the Common Good Radio Show, sponsored by Veterans Rescue Mission. Peace.
Welcome back once again. Here we are on the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McLean. With me in studio, as always, is Mr. Andreas Ruiz with I Believe in Myself, because he believes that you should believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself, brother. Yes,
yep, that's
absolutely.
it. You're ready. You had that cocked and ready, didn't you? I saw you. I could see it on your face. For sure. Yeah. And then secretly, with the camera shuttering there, we have Jeremiah Montgomery, the best pastor's assistant that one could possibly ask for, and uncover the camera there, and we are here once again. We had two cool segments today. The first segment we had me kind of subbing in for verse of the week with explaining the awesome work we do at Veteran Rescue Mission, and the second segment of Andreas Ruiz reading chapter 20 of his book. What is the name of this book? I can't even remember.
Morning Warrior Secrets: The Secret to More Health, Happiness, and Wealth.
Yeah. And that was pretty awesome. And somehow I was in it and I didn't even realize it. Absolutely. That's pretty much magic sauce. And then now we have, I want to think, the best part of the show, which earlier in the metaphor of TV show to pizza, we described it as half of the pizza with Miss Sadie Shaw, the woman who is running for for school board with Tucson Unified School District.
Awesome.
Thank you for being on air with us, Sadie.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And this is like the 11th hour for you, so I guess that's kind of like the obvious question. Like, how are you feeling now that you're in kind of right there on the cusp of the end of voting time?
Well, I'm feeling pretty tired, but confident. Confident in the work we've done, and just anxious, I guess, to have the results. And so it's I've been campaigning for about 3 or 4 months now, and
wow.
I think we spread the word, as well as we can in these times, and so just happy that we're coming to the end.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for you. I mean, definitely. I mean, granted, it's just like in politics. I mean, for those of the handful of listeners that know out there, I ran for mayor myself in 2011. And you really never know. You really like up until they say yes or no. It's really hard to get a sense. But from my litmus test out there, it seems like you have a fighter's chance. So it's pretty cool to hear and to see and to know somebody like yourself who, just put yourself out there, and just gave an awesome effort. And maybe in 3 days I'll be talking about my friend Sadie Shaw, someone who sits on the school board for Tucson Unified School District. So that's pretty cool, and I'm just proud of you putting yourself out there, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. So let's turn it back to like more, I don't know, stuff that I think people would like to know if, out of a school board person, and just, I guess a simple one. I thought a cool question that when we came up with it was, what's your current read?
Yeah. Well, right now I am reading Dust Tracks on the Road. It's the autobiography of Zora Neale Hurston.
Okay.
So, she wrote Their Eyes Are Watching God. It was turned into a movie. A lot of people have seen that. That's the work that she's most known by. But she's just an amazing writer, and she's also, she went around the country in the early part of the, I think around 1920, 1930s, and she recorded oral histories of Black people living, in the South and really all around the country. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'd say it's in that same vein. What are 3 books that you think everyone should read, like before they in high school? Like, what is that like? What is some? I don't know, I guess kind of like a off branch of the question. What is a book that someone definitely should read in kindergarten or in elementary, and then something someone should read in middle school and something someone should read in high school? Do you have like
Uh-huh.
that list?
Well, let's see. I mean, I think it really depends on who you are and what you need to learn. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, elementary school, there's, all the classics are important. But I think, having a book that's kind of socially conscious and like kind of puts yourself in another person's shoes is important.
Mm.
One of the when I was in elementary school, like the most like formidable series for me growing up was definitely American Girls, and it's like they go through the lives of different girls that in different times of like America's history. So the one that I read was the Addie series, and Addie was a girl who was. It starts out. It's like 5 series books. So the first book she's in slavery,
Mm.
and second one she escapes from slavery with her mom, and then we see her, post like in the antebellum times, I guess, kind of dealing with how life was, and all of the rights that they still didn't have, and trying to bring the family back together because it was just her and her mom for a while. And so I think that's really important to kind of understand how terrible slavery was and how far-reaching it was in like generations of families in America, both white and black.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely that's the first book series that I bought for my daughter. We read through it, and I wanted her to understand a little bit about slavery before she got into school.
Mm.
And so, yeah, it's just stuff like that. I think it's important to walk in other people's shoes because we don't always get a chance to do that. And I know with movies, we all get that chance, but I think with books, it's a little different because, like, you're reading the book and you're like the first person, and really you're all the characters when you're reading. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a proponent of books over movies. But yeah, to get back to your question, gosh, I don't
Well,
know.
actually,
Middle
we're
school
gonna
and
go
high
ahead and we're gonna
school.
go jump into the commercial break now. But I guess hold on to the thought. After the break, we'll talk about reintegrating arts into K through 12. But this I'm on the air with Sadie Shaw. She's running for school board for the Tucson Unified School District. You are listening to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here with Andreas Ruiz. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back.
Perfect.
Welcome back one more again. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McLean, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. And I'm with somebody who's brought to you by I Believe in Myself. His name is Andreas Ruiz. And you believe in yourself.
I believe in myself, yes.
And here, actually, I'll let you lead this time with our guest, Miss Sadie Shaw, who is running for school board with the Tucson Unified School District.
Yeah, Sadie, so grateful to have you here, and thank you for sharing, some books that were very powerful for you and your daughter. And my son too is, I have him read about books about slavery, about Martin Luther King. I really believe in those books are very inspirational. So thank you for sharing that. And I was kind of hoping that you would throw in Catcher in the Rye. That's the only book that I ever read in my life. But so
I haven't read that one yet.
You haven't?
But I was going to throw in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah, that's a goodie.
Yeah. I've heard that's a good one. I'm going to have to check that out. But so getting back to this, Sadie, what I'm going to ask you is, what are some of your plans when it comes to reintegrating arts back into K through 12 schooling?
For sure. I mean, I think the biggest obstacle, of course, is funding, because a lot of these schools already have the infrastructure. They have art rooms already. You know what I mean? But they've cut some of those programs. Like my daughter's school has an art room, but I believe it's being used now for pre-K class. And so, I think it's important to note that we do have the infrastructure in our schools, but we just need to direct more funds and, hire back the teachers that we've let go. And so, really the biggest thing is money. I'm a volunteer at Catalina High School, and I know that the teacher there, it's like pulling teeth to get any money to buy more supplies. And, without supplies, it's hard to create art. And so that there's a big issue there. And, we got to remember that the arts isn't just like studio art. There's music. There's theater classes, and I know the theater program at a lot of these schools don't have any budget at all. And so, it's up to the ingenuity of the teachers and the students to kind of put together, whatever they can to make it work. And I think, it's also a good lesson to kind of, find a way to work around not having any money, or, you know what I mean? Because definitely when I was in college, going to art school, I didn't always have money for supplies, but because I knew that going into it, I had to kind of think outside of the box. And sometimes it creates something even more interesting, but we still have to make sure we're giving teachers the supplies that they need to do their job. So
I was thinking that just from what I know of you, being an installation artist, what would you say, of that, you bring into those creative ways of teaching people, or creative ways of reintegrating art into school, like we're talking about? Because, I know I love your work myself. I want to imagine there's a big piece of you, and even in your schooling, that you can lend to this.
Yeah. Well, for one, I had no idea even what installation art was until I got into the U of A, 5 or 6 years into being an art school at Pima.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I hope to bring into the classroom, because not every school is going to have a theater program, you know what I mean? But my idea of the perfect studio art class is to kind of dabble in all kinds of different mediums, even the ones that, you may not have money for. Digital art is huge now. And we luckily, now that technology is so advanced, a lot of phones, even the ones that are older, you can do a lot of digital art on. And so, I hope to bring, show kids in high school, middle school, or elementary school, hey, there are so many different types of art forms. Because I really almost didn't follow through with the arts because I thought that because I couldn't draw realistically that I was no good, you know what I mean? But there's so many different styles of art that aren't that aren't focused on photorealism. And I know a lot of students want to achieve that, and it is achievable. There's definitely some tricks doing a grid from a photo. It's I could, if I really kind of focused, I could do realistic work, but to me, it doesn't speak to me. And so I just want to show kids that, being an artist is like the word artist is, there's so many definitions to it. And so maybe your art is like culinary arts. Maybe it's like woodworking or, buildings. So like really being an artist and being innovative, I think anybody's, whatever career path they choose, it's an important thing to like even just have the basic fundamentals. I know Steve Jobs said that like his basic design class was why, Apple became so successful, because he had like that composition background. And like personally, I love the interface of Apple computers because it's pleasant to me the way that they designed it. So like art is everywhere and in every career path. So we really have to make sure that we're giving students what they need so that they can be innovative thinkers in whatever path they choose.
Sadie, when you were talking about thinking outside of the box, what kind of advice would you give our youth today in regards to thinking outside of the box? Because it sounds like you did your own thing to get what you wanted when it came to arts, and when you couldn't get the funding from anybody, you looked for it yourself. But can you give us any tips or maybe a little bit about your experience on how you did that?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of looked for materials that were thrown out. Like, so U of A has a big dumpster outside the art building that, like, people would often throw away their art projects that they didn't like enough. So I would like reuse materials like that. But I think the main thing is to, I guess, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because a lot of people, like, we all have our own fears. You know what I mean? But like we have to overcome them. And so for me, I've been like putting myself through incredibly uncomfortable situations, like this campaign, for example. I never thought I would be running for office, and like it was scary, and it still is scary for me. But like I did it, and like I've grown from it. You know what I mean? And so like for me, it started with just like signing myself up for like a salsa dance class when I was like 19, because I was like paralyzed with fear about dancing. So I did that, and then like, now I'd like love to dance. And like also like I signed myself up for an acting class because I had a really hard time doing public speaking, and that like helped me overcome that. And without like those 2 acting classes I took in college, I probably would not be here because I would still be, hampered by all of that fear. So I think just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations will kind of show you how strong you are, and how like, those fears that have been controlling your life are you can overcome them really easily.
It's funny. It seems to be a reoccurring theme on this show. Like we have this lady, woman, the superintendent of actually Tucson International Academy. It's a network of charter schools. Her name's Dr. Jennifer Herrera, and that's what she constantly talks about. Is just putting yourself in difficult situations, and don't fight against that idea that being uncomfortable. Actually, go toward that idea because. Right. That's where heroes are made. That's where, greatness lives, is in those uncomfortable situations, because comfort is at your couch, which, nobody's coming and knocking on your door and saying, here's the life-changing opportunity for you. Yep. So that's cool. I'm glad you shared that. And then, like, I'd say kind of as we're rolling out here, like, what would you say to people that want to be involved? Like, how can they support you in the 11th hour? Like, what does it look like to give Sadie Shaw for TUSD the most support you possibly can as the final toll ticks?
Thanks for asking that. I mean, the biggest thing is to vote for me, I guess, and tell your friends and family. But if you want to, have boots on the ground, we are in need of volunteers for the 2nd and 3rd. We need people to help us put up signs at the polling places tomorrow. And we also are looking for people to, keep an eye on those signs on the 3rd, because we do have a lot of our signs being stolen. And also perhaps reaching out to voters while they're at the polls, like, at a legal distance, of course. And so, yeah, if anyone is interested in that, you can email me at shaw4TUSD@gmail.com.
At shaw4 TUSD@gmail.com. And then what are some of the other ways that people can just kind of plug in? I know you have Sadie Shaw for TUSD Facebook page. What's some of the other ways people can kind of get involved with you and support if they want to?
Yeah, they could go to my website, shaw4TUSD.com. I also have an Instagram, shaw4TUSD. And I have like all my campaign videos on all the platforms, and just, kind of about all of my goals. And, but yeah, people can feel free to reach out to me at any time if you want to have a conversation. I'm open to anything, really.
Okay.
I want to learn about people's experiences in the district, because, I want to be the type of board member that, researches things and hears people's opinions and experiences in the district before I make my decision on anything. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear from the public. So
Awesome. And I say we have about 30 seconds. What's one thing you think people should, you want them to know about you before we go?
I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I am an artist, former president of Sugar Hill Neighborhood Association, and just really doing this for the people. I don't have any ideas of going for a higher office, but I just want to make TUSD a better school district.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show with us today, Sadie. I definitely appreciate having you on. And good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
And this is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'd say we had a successful show today. Thank you all for listening. I had with me Andreas Ruiz, with, I believe, myself, commandeering this little party with me, and Jeremiah Montgomery documented it all. I thank you all for listening. You are all witness to what was another Common Good Radio Show. And God loves you. We love you. God bless you. And we'll catch you next time.
Yes.